So, let's reiterate the statement. Is it worth picking up an older fighting game, or is it basically self-harm? Just started playing the genre, and I didn't like Lumina or Strive, and everything else is sub 300 concurrence on stream. Okay, that's a very well-stated thing, right? So, is it worth picking up an old fighting game? The biggest question is it even worth picking up a fighting game, right? Like, the way you're saying is, like, is it worth picking up some of the older ones compared to newer ones? And I can say this, if you're already asking that question, I kind of want to say no. Like, a lot of older games are just straight up not worth it. If you're already not invested into the genre, or maybe don't understand the appeal, I don't recommend anything older than, especially if it doesn't have a strong player base, right? That's the thing. So that's the first thing. It's like, no. Older fighting games, no. Because I tell this all the time, pick a fighting game that is popular. And not even in a mean way or anything, but if someone's trying to get into the genre, it's one of two things. They need people to play, or they have to find a fighting game that suits them. And these two can be two very different things. Fighting games, right off the bat, I'll tell you, if you want to even consider testing out something, they're either on Xbox Game Pass, or you could try out like a month, just boom, or on PS Now, boom, you could try out a lot of these games. Like so you didn't like Strive and Lumina. Lumina is pretty dead. See, here's my reason though. I will get to that, right? But the most popular games right now, Strive is one of them. Strive on all platforms, PC, Steam crossplay's coming. Another one is Tekken 7 and Street Fighter. Tekken's kind of dropped off a bit. Street Fighter 5's gone back up a bit. Those are the big three. And then Dragon Ball FighterZ is doing pretty okay. They've gone down a bit. The only other fighting game I can think of off the top of my head that's pretty active is Mortal Kombat or any Injustice. Those would be your picks if you want to pick popular games that actually have stuff, right? So that's the first thing, is pick popular fighting games, right? And of course you can look at Steam charts, so you're specifically on PC, right? And that's a good way, right? Steam charts I still think is a decent indicator as to how many players play that fighting game in general. Like in BB Tag, Steam charts is like, look at Steam charts, that number, add like double that number, that's exactly the same amount, that's the number of people that are on Switch and PlayStation. You can look at Steam charts as either as long as you know, like, oh, ask someone, right? Oh, do more people play on PC, console, or whatever, and then you look at Steam charts, you get a rough estimate as to what they would be on other systems. And as someone who actively plays BB Tag, that's another game you could play. That game has a decent player base, but I've noticed it's kind of dropped off a wee bit lately. And here's the thing about that one, right? If you want to play PC, don't play it. It's dead as fuck on PC compared to Switch and PlayStation. PlayStation has more people, but there's not as many noobs as the Switch version. So that one's like, pick who you choose kind of thing. So yeah, again, I try to stick to the ones that are more popular, because at the end of the day, too, we gotta stress again, if you're new to the genre, it's like, what's your skill level? It's extremely important that you play people around your skill level. This can be really critical to your fun level, right? Another thing is, here's what it is, right? This is really what I want to get the crux to it, is like, why do you want to play fighting games? What really got you into it, right? Like, maybe someone's like, oh, I'll play this, like, and then some people might not understand. It's simple as this. Like, think of a game you like. A good example is like one of the most popular ones, like FPSs. Why do you like playing an FPS? I want to shoot shit. Very simple. When you people overcomplicate things. What do you want to do? I want to shoot shit. Why do you fighting game? I want to hit shit. Oh, an RPG. Why do you want to play RPG? Oh, I want a story, or I like maybe it could be two reasons. Oh, I like story, or oh, I like playing games, but I'm not very good at them. So you play an RPG. But yeah, that's a bit of a breakdown statement. Sometimes you just really gotta try it out. Here's the other thing. Sometimes I'll say this. You don't have to play the most popular fighting games. You can just straight up play a game like BB Tag. I said, I fucking love that game. Has a decent enough player base. You like the game enough that you're invested, that you can actually get to the mid-level of gameplay and enjoy it. Or maybe you have friends to play with. That's another really important thing. If you don't really have friends to play with, fighting games kind of become a lot more boring. That's why if you don't have friends to play with offline, the game very, very popular online is important. Another thing that doesn't get talked about a lot, and this is why older fighting games are better than this. I will say this. Older fighting games are better in this, like specifically like before PS4 era, have really good offline. Like they have plenty of offline content. Fighting games I can recommend you also that have a decent player basis would be like Street Fighter 4. But and it all depends too. Like I would recommend checking Friday through Sunday during peak hours and check out the fighting games. I'd say follow the fighting games, and then you can ask people there, see how active they are. Because especially if like they're active members, they'll tell you. I only know for my fighting games specifically that I fuck with. But another thing that could be like, oh, we'll go with Lumina and Strive. Maybe you're just not into anime fighting games. Like the thing is, you ask yourself, for me, it's like, why didn't you like them? And this is the thing that make, because the fact you have Strive is already good. Lumina, it's a good game. I like Lumina. I really like it. The game's just dead as fuck. Like that game is mad dead. Like that game, I don't blame you for not liking it. But like for Strive, what is it like? what is it you don't like? It could, maybe you could be not enjoying a game because for right now, Strive, some of the floors aren't as popular as they used to be on day one, but Strive definitely has plenty of people to play with against. And there are things like you could go to the player lobbies. That's where people go to now, like the little parks, and then just pick people with really low numbers. Like, because, you know, they have a little dog tag on you, and then you play people who are around your level. So part of it could be maybe you're not having fun with the people you're playing. Maybe maybe you're facing characters you just can't stand. Like, the thing is, maybe you could be into the fighting game you like, but the stars aren't aligning kind of thing, right? That's why I like offline stuff. But, like, maybe you haven't found your character yet, or you haven't understood what makes the game, like... Because I'll say this much, I didn't like Exerd, and I still kind of don't, because the button scheming does not make sense to me. So that's another thing that is in a crux is, does the game make sense to you and does it flow? I think this is the most important out of everything. Fuck it. Because it could be Strive, maybe you understand it and you're just like, I still don't like it. Like for me, I finally understood Exerd, I still don't like it as much as Strive or Accent Core. MVC3, I don't play that shit competitive, I don't even play online, but I love that game. I only play it offline. Why? Because it's extremely fun. I love playing MVC3. Why? Because it feels good. So that would be my thing. Like, if we really want to get it specifically to you, we would have to go over, like, every single fighting game, how they would play, how they look. But that would be my response to that. From here on out, the rest of the video, I'm putting this on YouTube. This is something I have to talk to on a person per basis. This is something we have to get personal, right? Like, talk about certain aspects, right? But that's a generalization to this question. I'll upload it on YouTube, like, probably right now.